Welcome to another edition of The Correspondent. It is an interesting edition that's worth your while. I am Tessie Omeri. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin with the issue of violence against women. Women have always been in the front burner to contribute immensely to the growth of any society. Yet, this set of individuals are often the victims of inequality, discrimination and domestic violence. Today, the women show their resilience to break out from the shackles of these acts perpetrated against them to embrace freedom as they take a decision to bring perpetrators to book, while canvassing for support from concerned Nigerians. Correspondent Emedion Umo takes the story from there.
Violence against women is a human rights violation and discrimination against women in law, as well as persistent inequalities between men and women. This violence impedes progress in many areas, such as poverty eradication, combating HIV and AIDS, as well as peace and security in the society. However, violence against women and girls is not inevitable, as a lot of women have been faced with the challenge of inequality in their lifetime. Emerging data from United Nations shows an increase in calls to domestic violence in many countries since the outbreak of COVID-19, as 1 in 3 women and girls experience physical or sexual violence by an intimate partner. However, only 52% of married women freely make their own decisions about sexual relations, contraceptive use, and health care, while 71% of all human trafficking victims worldwide are women and girls.
We see minors being violated, adults are violated, even the men are violated, young boys are violated. There was one I witnessed when I lived somewhere to Raikba. A little child of about 5-6 years was being violated.
Must lend a voice to condemn this act, no matter who is involved, even if somebody that you know very well. Don't try to shield that person because we'll come after you.
Have the violence against persons law just passed in Abuja State this year 2000, and I'm very proud of those who worked for that law to be passed.
Gender-based violence, particularly its common form, known as violence against women, is a public health problem of global magnitude. It is a violation of basic human rights, which has significant negative impacts on the health and well-being of affected persons.
To end this in the society, women activists are of the opinion that it is a collective responsibility, irrespective of the gender, to ensure that the enacted VAMP laws in the states and the country are implemented to serve as a deterrent to violators.
The 16 days of activism against gender-based violence was started by activists at the inaugural Women Global Leadership Institute in 1991. And is used as an organizing strategy by stakeholders to call for the prevention and elimination of violence against women and girls.
As we move to sensitize people on these things, and as they get to hear of convictions, real convictions of people that they know, we are hoping that all the things that we used to notice were not happening because people were not speaking out are now going to be a thing of the past, because in future nobody wants to be known in his street, on his street, or in his church, or in his community as someone who's been convicted for rape.
A 28% prevalence of violence during pregnancy among women attending postnatal clinic in southwestern Nigeria. A study of intimate partner violence among women living with HIV in northern Nigeria showed that 67% of those who disclose their status to their partners did experience this violence.
We should be able to talk about it if we are raped. We shouldn't see it as a stigma. The law will help. The law is being domesticated. It's trying to be domesticated here too in Akwa Ibom State. The women are up working towards that. But the fear is, will every woman like to come out? Won't they see it as a stigma?
Women were discriminated upon in schooling, in gender, in sex inheritance, and everything. So as we are marking the World Day Against Gender, is the right thing to do. I'm in support of it.
With this year's theme, Orange the World, Fund, Respond, Prevent, Collect, it's a reminder that the campaign, which will be rounded off in December 10, 2020, will bring hope for the women and girls.
Yes, Emediong, various movements by Nigerian women appear to be a wake-up call, for Nigerians to put an end to the ugly trend of violence against women. Thanks so much. Now, let's pay attention to a very important cash crop that many farmers see as a replacement to cocoa. It is about cashew and its production. Kogi State ranks high in cashew production in Nigeria, according to a 2018 report by the National Cashew Association of Nigeria. But those who wear the shoe know where it pinches. Talking about the farmers and their challenges, as correspondent Jonathan Omajeli tells us the issue and gaps in cashew production in Kababunu local government area of the state.
Homes, farms, and office premises, providing shades on a sunny day, food for the hungry, and a means of livelihood for many.
I built my house inside the castle, and all my children, they are going to school, and even though some will feel fine.
We even refer to it as cash crop of Guinea savanna environment, where we do not grow cocoa much. This crop tends to replace cocoa in this environment.
Why the apple is a good source of minerals, the nut for the business-minded is the real diamond. They are more widely traded and have higher export potential. The journey from the tree to the point of shipping is a long chain of business that includes young boys and girls, hawkers, middlemen, transporters, government officials, and licensed merchants.
Licensed by association. A little bit that we are buying in this store, you can buy, we are buying more than 10 tons. Loading in your store, you are LPA. That's one of the called hawkers. That's what that's that we are giving money to help us buy. But we LPA, we don't buy 1 bag, 2 bags, tons we are buying. And all merchants will come to our shop and load it to Lagos.
Wasiu has been in the business for 28 years. The thought of quitting never crossed his mind until 3 years ago, when price and demand began to crash in the community. Poor post-harvest handling of the seeds and plucking of unripe fruits led to a reduction in the quality of the nuts.
Even one of my customers, he carried 1 truck of cashew to Lagos. After get there, the tested cashew, the carriers knocked it up. They have to drop it, later pack it from that warehouse to another warehouse with low price. So that's the problem that all the merchant face.
Exportable product from that crop is the kernel. And when you do not allow the kernel to get to maturity, you tend to reduce the quality.
It's a mammoth problem, according to Wasiu.
No, as soon this year, I lost my first loading 12 tons. I lost almost 400,000. I bought cashew 250. I sold it 300 and 220. See different, but it's my work. If you have cashew KR 50, 50, 55, 75, 57 KR, 58 KR in your zone, you'll be okay now. They'll beg you for it because the quality is okay. But the quality is not okay. The quality is not okay. You call them that come now. I have cashew. If they come, the test is if no meet up their demand of KR, they will leave it and go.
For farmers in the state, there are other bigger problems to make them groan even more.
Kogi State is the highest cashew producing state in Nigeria, exporting about 100 metric tons. But for the success story to continue, farmers and stakeholders will need to deal with the problem of pests and diseases.
There are chemicals that are just being introduced. I mean the pesticides, insecticides, that the government reduce, subsidize, and send to local farmers. This is a way of increasing the production level of cashew.
More will be required to tackle the challenges. Firstly, there is an urgent need for sensitization workshops on quality control and regulations in the industry.
I can say that this particular government, they have done a lot in terms of increased cashew production. There's a cashew program in which they train youths in both cashew production, processing, and marketing. The training took place in Kaba College of Agric here, in which we train close to 300 graduates, agricultural graduates, in the production, processing, and marketing of cashew.
Issues like smuggling, unauthorized collection of levies on cashew produce, and post-harvest handling must be addressed.
I beg for government to assist us. Anybody that no have license, no register in the government office, they will help us arrest them.
If there's a level or is an arrangement from the government that can move the revenue, that can monitor the revenue from local government level to the exporting point, and make sure that they realize it is graded properly, a lot of revenue will be accrued to government purse.
Jonathan Omajali joins us from Kaba, Kogi State, via telephone call to speak further on cashew production in the area. Hello, Jonathan. Welcome to the correspondence.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. How is Kaba Bunu this morning?
Kaba is wonderful.
Okay. Jonathan, Kaba Bunu local government area of Kogi State is well known for, cashew production. How has this impacted on the socio-economic lives of members of the community?
Well, tremendously, because if you call it the oil well of Kaba or the gold mine of Kaba, you won't be wrong.
Okay.
It's a business for everyone, the young, the old, the literate, the illiterate as well. In fact, during cashew season, civil servants take loans to go into the business.
Okay.
I remember speaking with one of the farmers recently, and he told me that it was through the cashew business that he built his house.
Wow.
And also was able to raise his children. So It's a big business for everybody here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, from your reports, the business of cashew production is no longer lucrative as it used to be. Can you tell us what went wrong?
Well, I think a lot of things went wrong.
Okay.
In 2018, there was a glut in the industry because we had a situation where a lot of people went into the business. And so you had cashew on ground and there were no merchants to buy them. But partly the problem stemmed from the fact that the quality of cashew being produced in this area reduced drastically. And so merchants began to turn their attention away from this place. And like I mentioned in the report, it started with the issue of not allowing the cashew nuts to mature on the tree before plucking them. I think the farmers, perhaps in the quest to make quick money, became very impatient. So they didn't wait for the fruits to mature. They just, once they begin to come up, they just pluck them, sun them, and then take them for sale. And so merchants were not getting what they wanted. So they diverted their attention from this area. And like I said, the problem was storing them as well. Some of them, they don't sun them very well before selling them. So by the time they would take them to the market, some of them will already be bad. So the business went down and it really affected those who were into it.
Okay, let's talk about the challenges of poor harvest, the handling of the fruits. What are the farmers and the regulatory body doing, to forestall losses?
Well, in 2018, I remember there was a workshop that was organized by the state government. I happened to attend, And there were stakeholders, farmers, buyers, and sellers, all in attendance. It was well attended. And the issue of focus was how to improve the quality of cashew production from the planting to the post-harvest process. So a lot of issues were discussed, and part of what the government came up with was that farmers will have to register, buyers and sellers will also have to register so that the government can easily monitor the production, the processing, as well as the sale. And I remember the government also promised then that it was going to provide jute bags, because when you store them in jute bags, it's better in the long run. Though the last time I spoke with some of the farmers, they said the government is here to make good that promise. But I think there are workshops being organized by the government to sensitize farmers and other people who are into the business. And from what I've observed so far, there's interest in learning how to do the business so that they will not run at a loss. So the regulatory agencies, they are doing their best, and the farmers too, they are learning very fast because they don't want to experience another loss this year. And I would say it's been impressive. I think we are going to have a good year this year with all the measures that have been put in place by the government and the efforts being made by the farmers in that regard. Talking about pests and diseases. So there's good results. Good results, and we hope for the best.
Okay, we are hoping for better days ahead for cashew production in Kogi State.
That's right.
It's been a pleasure speaking with Jonathan on the program this week. We hope things improve fast for cashew farmers in Kogi State. Thanks a lot for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Still ahead, building schools without walls. A non-governmental organization supports federal government out of school children syndrome. That's after the break. Join us again.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. While clinical trials are ongoing for a vaccine and a possible cure, there is...
Ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Welcome back to the correspondence. And now to the education sector. Development of the nation's public basic education sector had hitherto been the responsibility of the federal and state governments in recent times. However, relief is coming the way of the sector with the support of local and international partners and the resultant improvement in the quality of output from public schools. Correspondent Olabode Arewa tells us more.
This is Patience Sunday. She was a student at School Without Walls, Abuja, one of the schools established to cater for disadvantaged children. 16, she shares the reasons why students drop out of school.
Some of them feel that they are too big in the class that they are.
The Life Builders Initiative and its partners are
into the system. The uneducated, unemployable adults of 2000 had children, multiplying their ignorance and hatred for their Nigeria state, and this comes at a great cost for Nigeria. So we cannot isolate what we are going through in Nigeria today from the fact that we have not created a holding capacity to hold the out-of-school children. So we need to begin to pressure the government. We need to begin to pressure the private sector. We need to begin to pressure individuals to begin to think of building schools. Because if we don't build schools, we cannot reduce the out-of-school children.
Children don't only need knowledge, but they also need skills. Skills in such a way that even if you are wherever you are, even as a street child,